Hello and welcome to our new show, Our Family, which we're delighted to bring you in association with students from Buxton University. A new season, a new set and a new show where we'll look at stories around the club that show you how the Watford family spreads far and wide away from the pitch. This month, we take a detailed look at the Premier League Inspires project run by the Watford FC Community Sports and Education Trust. And I'm very pleased to be joined here in the studio by Watford Ladies captain Helen Ward. Welcome back, Helen.
Thank you for having me.
Great to see you. Before we talk about why you're here for our new show, we must talk about Watford Ladies because you're top of the league. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a good start to the season. We've won 6 out of 8 games now, I think, and yeah, it's going well. We signed quite a few new players in the summer, all of a very high standard and with good experience of the league above us. You know, likes of Emma Beckett, Meg Chandler, Rye Vise, Ocean. You know, these players are coming in with really good level championship experience, and it's testament to the club that we were able to bring them in first and foremost. But the way they've settled in and gelled with the rest of the group has been really positive, and took a few games maybe to find our stride. You know, we dropped points in games that we perhaps shouldn't have done, but since then we've gone on a really good run, winning a lot of games, scoring a lot of goals, and obviously it's good to be top of the tree at the moment.
I saw your game against MK Dons a couple of weeks ago, and you could have had a hatful. The second half was just one-way traffic. 4 more yesterday in the win at Gillingham. Can you continue like this? Can you go on and stay top, and will the goals keep flowing? It must be great to play in the team as a striker right now.
Yeah, definitely. We're enjoying a lot of possession of the ball, and that has been the case from the start of the season. But I think the difference now is that we're remaining more patient. We're not getting frustrated when we're not either creating or taking chances. Second half of games, we tend to be finishing quite strong, whether that's down to our fitness or just our perseverance, moving teams around the pitch as much as we can to create those openings. And there's lots of players getting on the score sheet on a regular basis now, which is something we've not had in the last season or two. We've relied on 1 or 2 players, but now we've got the likes of Andrea, myself, Addy, Leggy, Katie O'Leary, I should say, all chipping in with goals every time they play. And you know, defenders coming up the back for set pieces. Anna Maywild's got a couple. Emma Beckett scoring for fun from the halfway line. Yeah. So there's goals all around the team, not just in the starting 11, but coming off the bench as well. So it's a good place to be. We're a bit of a scalp at the moment, being at the top, and obviously with the Watford badge on our shirts, we're a team that everybody wants to beat. But with the squad we've got, I've no doubt that we should and definitely could be going on and having a very good season.
Another goal for you yesterday, another header, I believe.
Yeah, that's 3 headers this season, which is quite a feat, you know. I think they've come in the last 3 weeks as well. So if that can keep happening, no problem. I think my record's probably 2 in a season. So yeah, I'm happy to put my head in when the balls are as good as they are. The one from Ocean yesterday was fantastic. So if I can get on the end of them, then all for the good. Great
stuff. Well, we'll talk more about the ladies as the season progresses. But our new show this season, Our Family, was going to look at sort of Watford Football Club far and wide, as we know all the great work that goes on by the Community Trust, and that's where we're going to focus this month. You took a visit to a local school recently. Before we see what happened when you went down there, tell us a little bit about what it's like going out into the community, to schools and other projects. You know, as a footballer, whether you're from the women's team, from the men's team, what sort of reaction do you get, and just, you know, what's it like going out to these places?
Yeah, it's great. I think for the wider world, you see what happens on the Saturday with the men playing at Vicarage Road or elsewhere in the Premier League, but it's nice to see what else the club does. It's not just about the football, but it's bringing a community together, and Watford have been famous from that, you know, back from when Graham Taylor was in charge, and he was very much a community man, and that stayed with the club, which is really nice to see. I've been a season ticket holder for over 20 years now, so to know that sort of base that we used to have is still there and having an impact in a really positive way on the community, and going into schools and different projects and seeing a lot of children especially being able to engage in the football club and what they bring is really nice to see, and going to Rickmansworth on last week was exceptional, and I really enjoyed my time there.
Tell us a little bit about what you found there. It's working alongside the Premier League with the Trust for a new project called Inspires.
Yeah, they seem to be learning a lot of sort of life skills, which I don't think I learnt too much of at school. It's things like taxes, saving your money, what you should and should spend spend it on. You know, a lot of trainers are being bought apparently, which they maybe need to change. But these children, I believe, aren't too engaged in the rest of their school life. So if this can help them to sort of bring them back and realise how important school is, and what they can get from it, not just how important it is for later life, but as I said, things that they may not learn in their normal lessons, they're able to take out of this, and they seem to really enjoy it. Smaller classes, so they get a lot more of attention, they can ask for more help, and from what I saw, it's a project that should be really successful, and the way that the Premier League and Watford are delivering it is really good, and it was really interesting to see.
Well, let's take a look at your visit. Helen went to Rickmansworth School last week to find out more about the Premier League Inspires project.
Hello, we are here today at Rickmansworth School to take a closer look at one of Watford FC's Community Sports and Education Trust programme, Premier League Inspires. Hi Sadie, you're one of the students of the programme. How have you found it so far?
I found it really nice and I've had a great time. I think it's very helpful because I've struggled in some of my lessons, but I've found it very helpful that I've got to see what's going on and like taxes and stuff like that, like I never knew before.
Okay, and as a big Watford fan, does it help that it's run by, in partnership with Watford Football Club and the Premier League? Is that a bit of an attraction to you?
Yes, I got to meet one of the players, Will Hughes, which I've looked up to him sometimes, all the time. And I think that it's very helpful that I get to see these players, tell them about their backstories of how they've got up to here, to Premier League, and yeah.
So you're 4 weeks into the programme. How have you found it so far? What's your journey been like?
Journey started at the end of September when we attended Watford Football Club for the launch of the Inspires programme. All of the students were thrilled to meet Will Hughes while we were there, and they had a fantastic time.
Everyone thinks that football is just a business about football, but there's a lot more things that go on behind the scenes, so I just wanted a bit of a question and answer session to get to know them and what inspires them.
And were you a bit surprised about the amount of questions, the kind of questions?
Some really intelligent guys there, guys and girls. They've asked some really good questions which had me on my back foot a bit.
And how did it make you feel in terms of the importance of such an event and getting your message across?
Yeah, it's good to get their voice and for them to ask me questions that they want to know, and what inspires me as well. It's interesting for them to hear.
All the students are really engaging with the programme, and it's been great so far.
And how do you think these sorts of programmes help with having external people coming in to work with these young people that maybe aren't so engaged with school life in general? How do you think it helps them and the school in general?
It helps immensely, to be honest, because you've got people coming out. The interaction between student and employer is really, really important, and the students benefit from obviously you and employers coming in from outside. You're out of their normal routine at school, and they're more likely to engage with you than maybe some of the programmes that we have here at school.
And do you think, I know it's early days, but can you see a difference in the children when they do go back to their usual lessons? Have they improved at all in their behaviour or engagement in those lessons, or is it too early to tell at the moment?
It's a little early to tell, but the answer is yes. With a couple of students, it is early enough to see that they are engaging elsewhere, which is brilliant. and this programme is going to continue well into the academic year, so we will be continuing to provide that support with Watford Football Club to this group of children.
Well, I'm pleased to say we're joined in the studio now by Lucy Tearle, Community Projects Officer for Young People for the Trust. I hope I've got that right, Lucy.
Yeah.
Welcome. We've just seen the film there of Helen's visit to Rickmansworth School and seeing you in action as well in front of the class. First question, obvious one. Tell us more about this particular project.
Yes. So Helen came and saw us in action last week, but the overall project is very new to us. It's something that the Premier League have only launched this academic year. So it's called Premier League Inspires, and it literally is about inspiring young people in our secondary schools and education establishments to aim higher, to kind of push themselves a little bit more, and to realise there is a life outside of school or wherever they're kind of studying, and being able to channel their kind of new challenges, new interests, and hopefully build new passions as well.
And why are programmes like this so important for young people?
I think, having now been in this role for just over 3 years, it's become very apparent that the school kind of structure, especially in Hertfordshire, is changing quite a lot. Schools, especially secondary schools, are getting bigger, and within that, a lot of young people can kind of get lost in the system and almost not find their niche until quite late on in school. And that can dampen a lot of experiences for young people. So being able to offer different programmes, especially through the community trust work, it just gives some students an outlet and gets them off that mainstream timetable and challenging themselves in new ways.
Now, this particular project, we heard there, only launched, I think, at the end of September.
Yes.
So early stages, but what are you finding and what sort of feedback are you getting?
Yeah, we used to do a school programme called Premier League Enterprise, and I took a lot of the feedback that we got from that into this new programme. The biggest thing being that to have a bigger impact, it needs to have a longer duration. So we used to do it for kind of 10 weeks, whereas now the Premier League Inspires programme goes across the whole academic year. So although we're only a month in, it's already been quite apparent that they're talking about things we're doing next year, next term, next summer. And I think that part of it has been really interesting. And it's something which, when I was speaking to schools, is something that's quite important to get into the programme. The launch day that we hold at the stadium, which was held this year at the end of September, is a valuable part of the programme. It always gets us the best feedback. It always gives us a really good impact that we have from that beginning and the get-go of the programme. Being able to have a first-team player in Will Hughes come this year to one of the days was incredible. It was something that really the students have not stopped talking about. Even when I've got into the schools, you know, they see him on the TV, they see him playing for Watford, and they're like, we got to see him. So the feedback so far has been very positive, but they also know there's still a lot to come, and that's what I'm most excited about this year.
What sort of difference does it make? I think you've almost answered that question anyway with the fact that Will was there at the launch. But when you get the likes of Helen coming into the schools and other players like that, what sort of difference, what sort of reaction do you get? And what sort of engagement levels, how much do they rise from the students?
Yeah, it was very interesting. I think when we had Will in at the launch day, it was kind of a lot of the students were kind of drawn to him. They wanted to ask him lots of questions. What was interesting, and the advantage I had having Helen come, was that the group we had, the 4 girls who are actually in the video, are huge sports fans. So they love netball, they love tennis, not so much football, but for them, female sport is quite a big part of their lives. And when I kind of got to see them after that, all they were talking about was the fact that Helen was a woman and, you know, she was getting to play this game. And to them, it's just incredible, because we'd actually had a conversation prior to this, because I love sport and so did they, about kind of they don't feel that women are always in them and they don't get to see a lot of it on TV. So being able to obviously introduce Helen, especially as an international player or Watford ladies player, it was really cool, and I know that it's something they won't forget.
Football's got a huge opportunity here, hasn't it? Sport in general, but you know, obviously football, you'd say, the highest profile in our country. There's a huge amount of power that it can give, isn't it? And you know, do you see that? And Can you feel that there's so much good that can be done, can still be done, Helen, in going out on these visits?
Yeah, I think so. There's so much going on in the world right now, and in politics and everything else that's not necessarily good. Sport is always there. It's something that brings people together, and it inspires people to, that especially with women's sport at the moment, like you said, there's a lot of attention around it now, which there wasn't perhaps in the past. I didn't have any real female sporting role models other than 1 or 2 Olympians. So to see more girls engaging in sport, if they can see those people coming into their schools, their education, wherever they may be, if someone like myself or any of the other players, any England players, whatever, can come in and sort of show like, hey, here I am, this is what you can be, or whatever, if that's going to help them alongside what they're studying or whatever they're choosing to do, then it can only be a good thing. And sport does have that power because, as I said, it brings people together. It takes away from what else might be going on in your life or around the world, and I think that can only be seen as a positive.
I guess you touched on it, Lucy, that we saw it again in the VT, that I guess you've got your core subjects and that everybody's got on timetable, but to be able to sort of learn a few life skills almost, we're talking about budgeting and taxes, and don't buy every pair of trainers going, maybe just one, whatever. But those sort of things are, again, probably when I was at school, we weren't taught that. It was just you are doing English and maths and history, etc. So, do you find there that the kids are sort of automatically more engaged with that and feel, they're going to look forward to those sessions, I guess?
Definitely. And having it come from someone outside of school, your parents tell you things about money, maybe your family try to make sure that you understand things that are going on, you talk about politics, and they don't necessarily get to always put that into practice. Yes, we do maths at school, but how many of them actually look at the things that realistically happen in the world? We were talking the other day about opening a bank account, and it's not on the national curriculum, and you think, that's quite worrying, really, because by the time you get into your late 20s, pushing, things are going to have to happen. You might have to be looking to rent somewhere, buy a house, potentially have a family. These things, they cost money. And I just think that should always be part of that, especially. And the group we had at Rickmansworth, they were only in year 8 and 9. And some people would say, well, why are you showing them a pay slip at that age? They're not going to be getting a part-time job till they're 16. And I always say to them, but it's never too early to know that. It's never too early to know that this is what you're going to get. This is maybe what your family, your friends are getting at the moment. So why not promote those conversations and get talking about it as soon as you can? Life skills is quite a big part of this programme. So we look at key things that will happen, lots of things around money, self-budgeting, lots of things around your options, so looking at university applications, colleges, changing sixth forms, big things that could happen in these young people's lives. And I try to show them every different point of view on it and give them a platform to discuss these things as well.
How do other schools and other youth groups get involved?
Yes. Lots of schools. We have about 9 at this academic year, but we're always looking to take on new schools, new youth groups, new colleges, new opportunities to reach out and to work with the young people. That is what I'm most passionate about anyway. So if they wanted to be interested in any of our programmes at all, they can email me, they can give me a call, we can go in, speak to them and see what it is that would be most beneficial to their young people in that school or that environment.
We can see your passion shining through. What's she like in the classroom?
She's very good, I have to say. I worked in schools prior to having children, and you engage with the children very well. They seem to respond to you. You tend to know which children need certain sort of tone of voice, or someone might need a bit more comfort, someone might need a bit more of a kick, say, come on, get on with it. But no, very good, and you can hear from you speaking today, the passion oozes out of her. So yeah, I think the young children are very lucky to have you.
Thanks.
Well, as always, you can find out more about all the projects run by the Community Trust at www.watfordfccsetrust.com. We'll have lots more about the Community Trust in the coming months, but before we go this month, let's find out a bit more about a project our under-12s are currently working on as part of a Premier League-wide competition. This is part of an education programme for all academies. This year's topic is the flu pandemic of 1918, which the boys are having to research and present their findings to parents, staff and supporters. Emma Saunders met some of them pitchside before the game with Sheffield United earlier this month.
We'll start here with Clevie and Rory. So if you can kick things off, Clevie, by telling us, where did the great flu pandemic come from?
No one actually knows. Researchers have been researching for the past 100 years.
From start, who's going to tell us next? Tony Howard's here. Who fell ill?
Everybody fell ill only because once the army came back, they spread it all over.
Okay, and Emiliano, we're going to ask you, how many people in Britain were actually affected by the flu?
Over a quarter of the people in Britain were affected by the flu. Over 228,000 actually died from the flu.
And George, what is the flu and how does someone contract it?
The medical name for the flu is medical name for the flu is influenza, and it affects the nose, throat, and lungs. Symptoms include fever, chills, and muscle aches. You contract the flu by breathing in tiny droplets from the air which are contaminated by the influenza virus.
And Zach, I think you can tell us about recommended treatments for the flu, is that right?
Yes, in 1918 it was eating lots of porridge, drinking lots of gravy, loud smoking in factories, and land handshake. And in 2019 it is rest and sleep, keep warm, and drink plenty of water.
And Kyan, finally, tell us how you feel about the great flu pandemic and what the Under-12s are going to be doing to commemorate those that died.
It's really sad that so many people died and how there was a great loss of life, especially after the war. We are fortunate enough to live in a society where we have medicines available to prevent further outbreaks. As a part of the Christmas Truce Education Competition, every player in the Under-12s have contributed to an activity to commemorate. A pop-up exhibition will be held at Watford Museum in November for viewing. We will also honour Albert Passman and Angus Douglas, two ex-professional football players who played for Southampton and Newcastle respectively in our Under-12 fixture against Leicester City on the 27th of October.
And of course we wish the boys good luck in the competition, and we'll find out more about their progress next time. And in the coming months we'll be finding out a lot more about the work of the Trust and much, much more around the club that makes it our family. To that, and Lucy, tell us a little bit more about sort of your wider role. We've heard about the Premier League Inspires project, but that's not the only thing that you're involved in, of course, with the Trust.
Yeah, so alongside the core enterprise programme where we go into schools, in the next coming months we will be launching the challenge part of it, which will be organised by the Premier League themselves. They will set a challenge and schools will get to compete in a mini enterprise competition to go on to represent Watford Football Club, hopefully at the regionals. We say regionals, last time we went to Wolves, so it was a little bit further away, but that will be coming up very soon. Alongside that, I oversee most of our careers and employability work that we do without the Community Trust. So if schools are interested in that, again, they can get in contact with myself. I'll be able to kind of see what they would like and hopefully make it feasible. Alongside our secondary school offers, we have other programmes that are going on. Positive Minds, looking at kind of enhancing young people's mental well-being, mental understanding as well around these big issues that are going on. And we are very excited to just be starting to be looking at a foundation degree, which is something that we're working alongside some partners with in the next coming months, which I'm sure we'll be able to put some more information to as well.
It's all exciting times, busy times for the Community Trust. Busy time for you, Helen, both with Watford Ladies and international call-up again as well for Wales.
Yeah, so I've got one more game for Watford against Chichester away on the 3rd of November, and then the next day I meet up with Wales in Newport, ready for our game against Northern Ireland in the European qualifiers, which is a must-win for us if we're looking to qualify for the Euro 2021. We've already dropped points against them, you know, having drawn back in September in Newport, so we go away hoping to bring back the 3 points this time.
We'll try and squeeze in another visit, though, for you into a Trust project before then, so we can catch up with you again next month. Lucy, Helen, thanks ever so much for your time today. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us on our new show, Our Family. That's just about it for this month. Thanks to you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Click here for more videos. Or here.
That's it, yeah, that's it, done.
Cool, thank you.